friends. I started reading one of my old journals a few days ago, yesterday, I think the day before, and then I spent some time yesterday. And this is a mission that I've had for some time. I have a couple boxes of old journals, and I've never gotten rid of them because they were from a period of my life when there was a lot going on. When I think back to both some of the struggles I had and the sheer amount of evolution that sort of had to happen fast, it's remarkable to me now. And I wouldn't have known that that's what it was at the time. I actually would have used those words. That's the funny thing. I would have said, this is all evolution. This is my evolution, but I wouldn't have really known what that meant. Or maybe I'm not giving myself enough credit. Maybe I would have. It's just that the last 10, 12 years or so have given me a whole new perspective on what really happened in that period of my life. And what I find, funny enough, this came out of the other day when I did my post about having a bunch of fear surface. For whatever reason, somewhere in the midst of that, I got this jolt, this little voice in my head saying, go read your journals, go spend some time with yourself, and just because part of it was motivated by feeling as though that period was a very rich one. I mean, chock full of learning, growing, floundering. And so in orienting, even in orienting where I am now, and what, connecting to the core of things, connecting to my own deepest sense of purpose and power and energy, inspiration. I just had this inkling, like I should go read some of those thoughts. I should go see what was going on in my mind. And I was kind of blown away. I started reading from a journal that was from about 2007. It was right as I hadn't even finished my master's degree in jazz piano. And it was like, I did occasionally touch on jazz piano. I touched on a really cool master class with this guy, Kirk Lightsey, who's a jazz piano legend who lives in Paris, used to play with Lester Young, just a ball of light, really, really inspiring guy who just came through my school in London for a day, did one class, or maybe did a couple of master classes, but so I had some of those experiences that I was reminded of, but the through line, or the sort of my primary takeaway so far, and I'm really only through about one of my journals out of God knows how many, I shudder to think, is that my focus has been on mindfulness, spiritual practice, treating life and the various disciplines of life as a spiritual practice. That's been my thing forever. That's who I am. And when that ever gets cloudy, I think that's maybe why it showed up, the sort of urge to go back and read showed up the way it did, because it was like, there's no reason that should ever be cloudy for me. The only reason that could get cloudy is if I let other kind of generally lower priorities kind of take over my awareness, and but if I'm being true to myself, if I'm being in my core, really rooted and living from where I really am, that is my lifelong passion. So that was helpful to see. That gives me some real, it was like it empowered, all of a sudden my next steps looked kind of easy. It was like, oh, well, I just need to keep doing this. I need to find some venues and communities and ways to do this. So that was exciting. It's exciting to see. It's exciting to have access to my own mind from a different phase of my evolution, and be inspired by it, and see kind of what I was tinkering with, and reminds me of, there are things that come out of me when I'm teaching now, or when I'm coaching or collaborating. The things that come out of my mouth, and it's like, and I don't know where they come from. They just seem like they're just obvious to me, or they're just my perspective. And I'm starting to, as I read this, even just this one journal, I'm starting to go, oh, I've built this. Like, this is my history. This is my own evolution that I've done quite consciously. I've just done so much of it that a lot of it I don't remember. Now it's the way the world is. It's the way my world just appears to me. So I thought I'd share that, even though it's kind of an inconclusive thing, but I've started a process now that it's going to be ongoing for a while. I've had the intention to go through these journals and see if there's anything in there worth capturing, worth building on, worth blogging about. That was my first thing, my first step. I thought, oh, this is a blog. I can take my own writing and either rework it, or just, I've got so many little nuggets of inspiration that are unpackable. And it gives me a good excuse to write, which is something I love to do. So yeah, that's where I am today. Thanks, people. Appreciate you. Have a wonderful day. I'll see you soon.